Sometimes these things just can't be helped. Anyways, for my first review, it's for a movie I watched last night on Netflix instant streaming. I will get it out eventually. Be patient with me. You make me nervous. Anyways, it's a movie called S&MAN, but it's spelled a little weird. When I first read it, I was kind of like, what's the title of this movie? I didn't really get it. This is how it's spelled. I wasn't sure if it was S&MAN or S&MAN, which made no sense. S and Man. Sandman. It is directed by J.T. Petty. He's a guy who did the movie Soft for Digging. I don't know if anybody caught that one. That was a pretty good movie. It's a little B-grade-ish, but very strong. Check it out if you haven't seen it. I'll talk about that one later, maybe. Basically what he does is this is kind of like a documentary, mock documentary, and I have to say at this point that there may contain some spoilers in this. So, again, like with Serbian film, if you don't want it ruined, shut it off now. Okay. It's a mock documentary, and he's basically delving into the world of underground pseudo snuff films. Places like Toe Tag Pictures, they put out like the August Underground videos, things like that, and he's basically touching base on what draws people to those kind of movies, or why do people like to watch those kind of movies. He starts it off with clips from the movie Peeping Tom. I don't know if anyone's seen that, but it's about a guy who makes movies, and he uses one leg of the camera, the tripod, with a knife on it, and he records. He makes a movie of him killing women, and like he makes his own snuff films basically. So he starts off with a clip of that just to kind of set up everything, and then he goes into telling a really interesting story, which I'm not sure if it's a true story or not now that I've seen the movie, but I hope it is, because it was a really good story. I'm talking about a guy who lived in his neighborhood when he was younger, who was going around recording everybody in their homes. He was watching them from outside their houses and recording everything. He started the story off by saying that there was a guy in his bathroom, and he saw a red light out in his yard, and he went to investigate, and it was a video camera pointed at his bathroom window. And when he got it and called the police, and they somehow tracked it down to this guy who lived in the neighborhood, and when they raided his house, they found all these videotapes of everybody in the neighborhood. He had been filming them, all of them, over the course of a year or so. And he was indicted and taken to court, but when they were told that these videos would be shown in court and everybody would have to see them, they all unanimously dropped the charges against this guy. So that's a pretty strange story, pretty entertaining story. Even if it's not true, it's pretty cool. Probably the makings of a really good urban legend, who knows. Anyways, he has interviews with different people in this movie. A couple of the more notable people that he interviews is Fred Vogel, who did the August Underground videos, Mortem, Penance, and the original August Underground video. And he also does an interview with Bill Zebub. He did Jesus Christ Serial Rapist, I believe. And he has interviews with them. He has interviews with some psychologists, some reporters, and really lends a very strong air of authenticity to it. I mean, these are actual interviews. No one's hamming it up for the camera. They're telling exactly their thoughts on the whole thing, and it's really cool. But midway through the movie, he talks about when he had a viewing of the movie Soft for Digging, and he was approached by someone in the audience who was releasing a series, or had released a series called the S&MAN series, and he gave him some samples of the videos, and he watched them. J.T. Petty watched them, and it shows girls being followed and then being snatched up and murdered in different ways, choking, stabbing, just different ways. So he sets up a meeting with the guy, and when he meets him in a public place, in a restaurant, and the guy sits down and he looks at the camera like kind of disturbed, and he said, "Oh, I thought this was just going to be a meeting between us. I thought we were going to talk about the ideas that I had." He says, "You didn't tell me there was going to be a camera here." And he keeps asking him questions like, "Well, do these girls know that you're following them?" He's like, "Well, no, because then it would ruin it if they knew I was following them." And he says, "But then you do get them to sign a release, right? You do get them to go along with the program and talk them into being in the video. And if you can't talk them into being in it, then they're just not in it, and you just go on to the next person." And he's basically just giving these roundabout answers, just really beating around the bush and saying, "Oh yeah, well, no, I can't introduce you to them for different reasons," and it just sounds real shady, right? So they turn the tables on him a little bit by following him around with a camera, and the guy gets really ticked off. I mean, he's like a total psycho. Comes running at them in public to turn the camera off and tell you can record me, and just he really makes you wonder, like, are these tapes he's putting out, these videos he's putting out, are they real? Are they authentic? Are they really snuff films? And I have to admit, I got drawn into it. I really did get drawn into it, which to me is like the markings of a good movie, right? It wasn't till towards the, almost the end where I was kind of saying, "Oh, this is a setup. We're being set up," but he did a really great job, an awesome job of it. And the thing was that he ends it with a scene from the S&MAN series, and he's voicing over it. J.T. Petty is, and he's saying that the public wants these movies to be real. They want to say that they've seen something authentic like that, an actual snuff film. So in their head, they convince themselves that it's real. And as he's talking, the scene is playing out, and the guy that he was talking to about the S&MAN series, Eric, he's tying some girl up on a sheet of plastic. She's kicking. He takes a knife, runs it across her throat, and blood goes spraying everywhere. Now, I have to tell you, I rewound this thing about 3 or 4 times, trying to find where they hid the tubing, if it was under her gag and it was spraying blood on her neck, or if it was coming out of her shirt. I couldn't find it. All I know is he ran it across here. I see the opening in her neck, and I see blood shooting out of there. She slowly stops kicking. She bleeds out. She dies, and that's how it ends. So if this was fake, and I'm pretty sure it was, they did an excellent job with it. An excellent job. Very cool job. In one of the interviews, he's talking to Fred Vogel and asking him if he's seen the beheading videos, like one of the famous Iraqi beheading videos. He said, "Yes, I have. I have seen it." And he goes, "And what do you think of that?" And he goes, "I hate to say it, but when I first saw it, I thought Toe Tag could do it better." Toe Tag being the company that he works for. So, just little things like that. Their thoughts on these issues, as far as snuff and death in film and real life death. Real life death? You know what I'm saying. It just added to the air of authenticity of the whole thing. It looked like a really cool documentary, but it was half documentary and half mock documentary. But I give it total props, big thumbs up. Anyone who's into the extreme videos, anyone who watches channels like 81 Oak Ridge STF, just to find out what's the latest hardcore stuff and run out and get it, may want to check this out for no other reason, because it's pretty entertaining. It really is. And if you're just the average horror fan who watches things like Hostel and Saw, you'll get something out of it. You definitely will. I guarantee it. So that's my review. It was a great movie. S&MAN, spelled with the little and symbol. I don't forget what that thing's called. I always do. But that's it. S&MAN by J.T. Petty. And check it out. It's on Netflix on demand. If you have Netflix, look on their instant list and select it and give it a view. And I'll be doing another review maybe in a week, maybe in less time. Maybe never again, depending on the comments I get. You suck! Thanks, everybody.